Welcome everyone to this special council meeting to approve the 2015 budget. Mr. Hague, I'm wondering if I can ask you to take us through the recommendation with the changed numbers as you normally do.
So, number one, the general levy, the final number is 108,055,193, which results in approximately a 1.91 increase in the 2015 tax rate. Recommendation 2, assessment growth be budgeted at 1.51 is unchanged. Recommendation 3 is unchanged, so all of the enterprises were approved as presented, so those numbers would remain unchanged. Recommendation 4 deals with the water rate increase percentage and the amount that was approved at 9.9 for water and sanitary. And then flipping over to the back side of that page, the stormwater utility, the rates that are there remain unchanged. Number 5 is just the creation of the development charge recovery reserve. It's been discussed a few times today. That's where items like the snow dump were to be funded from. Council's already essentially discussed that, decided that funding's coming from there. We just need a formal direction from Council in order to create that reserve fund. So that's number 5. Number 6 is all the net change in the reserve funds. Those are largely unchanged. There were the balance of the stabilization reserve fund and tax capital reserve fund may be different, and the other stabilization reserve funds, maybe enterprise reserve funds, may be slightly different because of the health and safety position, that the funding split and the timing of that, so it would be slightly different. But essentially that is all the same. Recommendation number 7, funding for the boards, KPL and Center in the Square, was approved as you see here. Number 8, FTE positions. The top 3 positions are items that were discussed as part of the operating budget. Those have no budget impact. It's just formalizing those FTEs, and there was a lot of discussion about that during operating. This is just formalizing those FTEs, has no budget impact. The bottom 3 relate to positions that Council has approved as part of, Finance Committee approved as part of the budget meeting. So they relate to SIO 3, SIO 4, and SIO 6, the bottom 3. 9, mileage was affirmed. 10, the per diems were affirmed. Moving into capital and number 11, there will be small changes to number 11 and number 12 based on the change in the Council Home Tech budget, but essentially it's the numbers that you would see there. Number 13, debt is unchanged, $1.166 million. Number 14, dealing with development charge projects. Those are as presented in the budget and were not changed today, so those would remain. And then moving over onto the final page, number 15 is just procedural. Number 16 is that the business plan be approved. And then there are a few that have been added today. So Colin, can I get you to switch to the projector? I have Number 17 is a recommendation that was part of the operating budget package, and it deals with the council conference budgets, and so that they be affirmed at the amounts that were presented and discussed as part of the operating budget. Number 18, I recorded myself as best I could about leisure access card, essentially that is not turned away because of a lack of budget, that nobody is turned away. And then 19, 20, and 21 are more detailed resolutions that were up on the screen, but the first was about the trails report that Councillor Singh asked for, was snow clearing. Number 20 was sidewalk snow clearing, and that was from Mayor Verbanovic. And then number 21 was the public art policy from Councillor Fernandez.
Okay, thank you very much. We have several people who would like to make comments. Actually, the report's been moved by Councillor Davey and seconded by, sorry, who's the vice chair? Sorry, Councillor Gazzola. Councillor Singh.
Yeah, I just want to, again, point out my conflicts that were reported in the committee for capital.
Okay, so if, clerks will note them accordingly. Councillor Fernandez.
Yes, I have a number of items that I would like to have pulled out to vote on separately.
Okay, Councillor Davey.
Sorry, just I know this practice, and I guess this is a concern of mine because I don't really see this portion, and it's a humble request, no more. I don't really see this portion as an opportunity to go through and re-vote on every single item that we voted on today. This point of pulling out individual items started, I recall, with the fire budget when we agreed to trim the fire budget, and some members of council, understandably, were quite concerned about their having their name tied to something that with a perceived risk to the community. That I understand, but if we start getting into re-voting on every single item that we have today, I would suggest that in approving this, it's not approving the public record. We had a recorded vote on every single item. So I would suggest that approving these items is simply a reflection of the will of committee. So not just because you vote in favor of something here that's captured in it does not mean that your position has changed. I'm just trying to save us some time because there are several items here, and if we start pulling out each individual item that we voted against, we're going to be here for much longer time, and frankly, there's no point to it because you can point to your record in the official voting record of the committee day.
Thank you, Councillor Davey, and I do share those comments, and I would ask folks to seriously consider them and govern themselves accordingly. However, I will, if people still want to deal with some items separately, I will have to consider them that way. So, Councillor Fernandez, you have the floor.
Yes, it's really only two items because I don't want to support them in engineering projects. I voted against them in committee, and I want to vote against them as well in council.
Sorry, so which numbers?
So they're on engineering projects. Number 14, South Strasbourg Creek Sanitary Sewer, and Strasbourg Road Sanitary Trunk Extension.
Okay, I will deal with those separately. Any other comments you want to make? That's it. Councillor Marsh.
I just want to make a slight adjustment to number 18 because the point of number 18 is not to just reiterate what was already in common practice, but just to direct staff to ensure it is clearly communicated with the public, and then the motion that no one be turned away from accessing the leisure card. I'd just like to have that added.
Are you trying to say that it be communicated to the public, or that more importantly be communicated to staff?
That it be communicated to staff, and in turn, when they're dealing with the public, that they do not communicate otherwise, right? So I don't know how. I'm not going to. I just want to make that clear. I don't want to make it complicated.
Okay.
So
So we'll add the words that that staff be informed that no one be turned away from accessing it because of a lack of budget. Does that work?
Sort of, yeah. That it's clearly communicated with when interacting with the public that no one will be turned away. Blah,
Okay.
blah, blah.
And I think Mr. May is here. I think he gets that message. He will no doubt make sure it's adequately communicated 10 times over. Councillor Gazzola.
I want the last four dealt with separately, please. Or they can be all grouped together,
Okay.
but I want them separate from all the others.
So which one's separate?
18, 19, 20, and 21. They can be. I'm supporting all four of those, so you can deal them with four singly.
Okay, so 18, 19, 20, 21, you're asking to be dealt with separately? Okay, well, to get together, but separate from everything else, because you want to support those, but possibly not the rest together. Okay, so any other comments? Here's your chance, folks. Councillor Yanetsky.
Yes, thank you. I also want to declare a conflict of interest in the what's the part word I'm looking for the conveyance of some funding grants to the orchestra that I belong in as a conflict of interest on that one. Maybe I'll just start off with some comments on this particular budget. I think we all worked hard here today. We've worked almost 13 hours to work at this. I see we are at 1.91%, and in my opinion, this is an increase of 1.16% of the budget, because initially we really started at 1.75, in my opinion, as opposed to 2.25, which was suggested by staff as the starting point by including the assessment growth as part of that particular package, and I can appreciate where they're coming from. But in my opinion, the starting point was really 1.75, so we only increased it by 0.16%. I'm not totally happy with the decision of council on where to go. Oh, number 4, dealing with the water rate and sanitary sewer storm rate increases of 9.9%. I would have been prepared to support something less, which is what I voted for earlier, but that may be as it is. That's council's decision on that. And so those are, other than that, the majority of the balance of the items I totally agree with, and I have no concerns on those. Thank you.
Councillor Davey.
Thank you. I'll just be brief as well. As chairing the committee, I wanted to thank members of council for their work through the process. I think the point that we ended at was, again, like every member of council, every single thing didn't go the way that I wanted to, but I think that this is representative of what the people of Kitchener would want to see. And I would be remiss to not thank finance staff and staff at City of Kitchener for all the work that they've done to this point. Its budget is a tremendous amount of work, and I think they really went above and beyond to make sure everything worked as smoothly as possible. So thank you.
Okay, any other comments? Not, then I'll just make mine. I too wanted to extend my thanks to staff, particularly the budget staff. This is not a 3-day or a few week project. This is a many-month project that goes on year after year after year. And I think the fact that our city is as well managed and is in as good of financial shape as it is, it speaks to the professionalism of our finance staff throughout the department. I want to thank all of them, as well as all the departments throughout the organization who are involved in the budget process, and more importantly, making sure that we keep our budgets on target, because that's really where a lot of the work lies. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the chair of the committee, Scott Davey. I think you've done a great job, again, of shepherding us through the budget process, some long discussions, some healthy debate, and ultimately a budget that I'll certainly be supporting what's before us, and one that I think this council can be proud of, because it does, I believe, find that right balance in meeting the needs of the community and doing it in a fiscally responsible way. So with that, I will deal with the conflicts first. So the issue around the community orchestra budget, that was the conflict that Councillor Yanetsky referred to. So recorded vote on that. So we'll deal with that budget. Yep, that's fine. If you can vote now, please. Yep. This is just the one grant. Oh, there we go. Okay, motion carries unanimously. I'll now deal with was there 4 items or 3? 4 items that Councillor Singh had a conflict on with respect to those capital projects. Recorded vote. You can vote now. And that's carried unanimously as well. Next, I'll deal with items number 18 through 21. Vote now, please. And that's carried unanimously. Next, I'll deal with the engineering projects. Can I deal with both of them at the same time? Sure. Yep. So the South Strasburg Creek Sanitary Sewer Trunk and the Strasburg Road Sanitary Trunk Extension. And vote now, please. And that's carried. And now I'll deal with the balance of the report. Everything else? No, the balance, the whole rest of the report. Yep, everything else. And that is, sorry, all those in favor? Should have done that for the last one, apologies. Opposed? That's carried, I forgot to stand. Okay, so now I need motion 3 readings. Moved by Councillor Davies, seconded by Councillor Arnaitis. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. He's left. Oh, so with that, motion to adjourn. All those in favor? Councillor Fernandez, Councillor Schneider. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you, everybody.